Getting older. It's something we're all gonna do, right? But let's be real, it's not always the smooth golden sunset we picture. Sure, there's wisdom and a whole lot of freedom that comes with age, but there are also some totally unexpected and frankly kinda annoying surprises that pop up as the years roll on. Nobody hands you a user manual for this stuff, and it can catch even the most prepared folks off guard. Let me introduce you to Eleanor, a vibrant 67-year-old who's lived a life full of globe-trotting, great friendships, and some awesome adventures. Lately, though, she's been dealing with some totally surprising challenges that have left her feeling frustrated, bone-tired, and, honestly, kinda isolated. Her story? It's one a bunch of older adults can relate to, and it shines a light on the unspoken struggles of aging. So, let's dive headfirst into 12 unexpected things that seniors often face as they get older, the stuff no one tells you about. And we'll give you some practical tips to tackle them head-on. From memory glitches to totally out-of-the-blue mood swings, these are the realities Eleanor and countless others run into. So, let's dig into her journey and find out how to handle these curveballs with guts and grace. Before we get rolling, if you're digging this content, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. It helps me keep the senior info train rolling. If you haven't subscribed, I definitely recommend hitting that sub button and clicking the bell so you don't miss a thing. If you're liking what you're seeing here, drop a 1 in the comments. If you think there's room for improvement, drop a 0. Let me know. All right, let's jump into it. First up, name game gone wrong. Eleanor got a serious case of the cringes recently when she ran into a neighbor at the grocery store. Total blank. She just couldn't remember her name. They'd had years of friendly chats over the backyard fence about gardening, kids, weather, you name it. But there she stood, grasping for words, her brain trying to recall even a single letter, only to draw a complete blank. It's a sinking, almost humiliating feeling a lot of seniors know all too well. Your memory, once razor-sharp, just betrays you at the most inconvenient times. These little glitches? They're a normal part of aging. Brain processing just slows down, and those neural pathways that used to fire in a flash now take a detour, or just stall completely. For Eleanor, it wasn't just the neighbor's name, she also forgot the neighbor's dog's quirky nickname, a detail she'd laughed about a zillion times. Science tells us this is just part of getting older, but the emotional sting of feeling disconnected or, well, incompetent can really linger. So, what's a person to do? Eleanor could try keeping a small, pocket-sized notebook, or better yet, use the Notes app on her phone to jot down names, quick descriptions, and key deets about people she meets or knows. Example: Linda, short gray hair, loves roses, has a terrier named Mr. Wiggles. Before heading to a social thing, like a neighborhood potluck, she could set a quick reminder to check her notes. If she zones out mid-conversation, no need to panic or fake it. Most people won't mind if you just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, your name totally slipped my mind. Could you remind me?" It's a small moment of honesty that often gets a smile, not a frown, and it shows you care enough to get it right. Bonus tip? Say the name aloud during the chat. So, Linda, how's Mr. Wiggles doing? That can help cement it in your memory. Over time, these little habits can turn a source of dread into a manageable, if kind of funny, quirk. Number 2. Boom! Out-of-nowhere exhaustion. One sunny afternoon, Eleanor decided to throw together a simple lunch. Nothing fancy, just a turkey sandwich and some soup. But by the time she finished eating, she was so wiped out she couldn't even rinse the dishes or wipe the counter. She just plopped into her armchair, staring at the kitchen mess, wondering where her get-up-and-go had gone. Tasks that once felt like second nature, cooking, cleaning, running errands, now leave her drained. It's a shift that happened so gradually, she didn't see it coming until it hit her like a ton of bricks. This sudden fatigue is a classic sign of aging. Energy reserves just shrink. Muscle efficiency dips, and even your body's ability to process oxygen takes a hit. For Eleanor, it's not just physical. It's the frustration of feeling like her day is over before it's even gotten started. So, what can she do? The key is pacing. Eleanor could break her day into small, manageable chunks. Cook the sandwich, then sit down with a cup of tea for 20 minutes before tackling the dishes. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Staying hydrated is crucial too. Even mild dehydration can make exhaustion feel way worse. She might keep a water bottle close and sip on it all day long. Small, balanced meals, like that turkey sandwich with whole grain bread, avocado, and a handful of berries, can prevent those energy crashes you get from heavy, sugary foods. And if she's up for it, a 15-minute nap isn't a sign of defeat. It's a strategic recharge. Studies show short naps boost alertness without messing up your nighttime sleep. The goal is to listen to your body, not fight it, turning a tough day into a series of small wins. If you're still listening and finding these insights helpful, drop a 1 in the comments below. Let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I definitely recommend hitting that button and the bell so you don't miss out on the good stuff. Your support helps us keep making these videos to inform and inspire you. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Unexpected weight gain. Eleanor's always been proud of staying active. Daily walks with her husband, weekend gardening, even the occasional yoga class with her friends. So, when she stepped on the scale last month and saw the numbers creeping up, she was totally baffled and, frankly, a little ticked off. Her routine hasn't changed much, but her jeans feel tighter, especially around the waist. It's a maddening reality tied to a slowing metabolism, one of aging's sneakiest tricks. As we get older, muscle mass naturally declines, and the body burns fewer calories, even when you're resting. For Eleanor, those extra pounds aren't just a number, they're a blow to her self-image, a reminder that her body's rules are changing without her permission. A lot of seniors notice this, especially in stubborn spots, like the belly or hips, even if they're still moving as much as ever. So, what can be done? Eleanor doesn't need some crazy overhaul, just smart adjustments. She could start by tweaking her portions to match her body's new, lower-calorie needs. Maybe that second slice of toast becomes half, or the creamy salad dressing gets swapped for a lighter vinaigrette. Prioritizing whole foods. Think grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, and quinoa. Over-processed snacks like chips or cookies can keep her feeling satisfied without those hidden calorie bombs. Exercise can help too, but it doesn't have to be intense. Adding a relaxing 20-minute walk after dinner or some light strength training, like lifting small hand weights while watching TV, can nudge her metabolism along. Consistency matters more than perfection. It's not about punishing herself, it's about adapting to a body that's still capable, just a little different now. Number 4. Endless doctor visits. Eleanor used to see her doc once a year for a routine checkup, maybe twice if a cold turned really nasty. Now, it feels like she's there every other week. A blood pressure tweak here, a joint pain consult there, an eye exam, a hearing test, a follow-up on that mysterious rash. Her calendar, once filled with coffee dates and book club get-togethers, is now just a grid of medical appointments. It's overwhelming, and sometimes she wonders if she's turning into that person who's always at the clinic. But deep down, she knows it's a sign she's taking charge of her health, catching small issues before they snowball. Aging brings more wear and tear, and staying proactive means more time in the waiting room. It's a trade-off she's learning to accept. So what's the fix? Organization is Eleanor's best friend here. She could set up a dedicated health calendar, digital or paper, to track appointments, complete with reminders a day or two ahead. A small journal or app could log symptoms, left knee stiff, 3 days straight, and questions. Should I switch meds? So she's not scrambling to remember during the visit. To make appointments less daunting, she might bring a book or podcast for the wait and treat herself to a coffee afterward. A little reward for showing up. If the schedule feels suffocating, she could ask her doctor to bundle checkups where possible, like pairing a blood test with a routine physical. Embracing this phase means seeing it as empowerment, not a burden. Staying ahead of problems is way better than letting them fester. 5. Trouble focusing. Eleanor had always found a sense of peace in the pages of a good book. Reading was her escape hatch, a way to slip into distant worlds, solve mysteries alongside clever detectives, or lose herself in sweeping romances. But lately, that magic has started to fade. She sits down with a novel, tea steaming next to her, only to find her eyes glazing over mid-paragraph. The words blur, her mind drifts to the grocery list, a creak in the house, or nothing at all, and she's lost the thread again. By the time she flips back to retrace her steps, frustration has replaced the joy. It's not just annoying, it feels like a small betrayal. Concentration, once a reliable companion, wanes as we age. It's a subtle but persistent shift tied to the gradual fading of cognitive sharpness. For Eleanor, and so many like her, this turns a simple pleasure into something that feels more like a chore, an unwelcome reminder of time's quiet toll. So what to do about it? The good news is that the mind, like a muscle, responds to exercise. Stimulate it with activities that spark curiosity and demand attention. Crossword puzzles that tease out forgotten words, Sudoku grids that flex logical thinking, or even jigsaw puzzles that reward patience with a complete picture. If reading still calls to her, try short bursts, a page or two of a light story, savored slowly rather than a daunting chapter. Picking up a new hobby can also reignite that mental buzz. Knitting, with its rhythmic click of needles, or chess, where every move is a mini battle of wits. But it's not all about brain games. A healthy mind leans on a healthy body, so pair these efforts with solid sleep, more on that later, and regular movement. Think a brisk walk to feel the crisp air, or a gentle sway to music at home. Together, these habits can sharpen the edges of focus and bring back some of that old delight. If you're still listening and finding these insights valuable, drop a 2 in the comments below. Let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and click the bell. Your support helps us keep making content to inspire and inform you. Let's get to number 6. Shrinking social circles. Eleanor used to mark her weeks by coffee dates with friends. Those warm, laughter-filled mornings where stories spilled over the rims of mugs. Now, those get-togethers are rare. Some friends have moved away, chasing grandkids or sunnier climates. Others have slipped beyond reach, lost to time or illness. The phone doesn't ring as often, and her calendar sits emptier than it once did. Loneliness creeps in like a fog, quiet, persistent, a dull ache she doesn't always name. It's a familiar shadow for many seniors, as mobility falters or loss carves gaps in their world. For Eleanor, the silence feels heavier on days when the house seems too big, and even the chirping birds outside her window can't quite fill the void left by those missing voices. So, what can you do? Connection doesn't have to fade. It just needs a new shape. Seek out local groups where shared interests can spark conversation. A book club dissecting the latest bestseller, a senior center hosting card games or craft afternoons, or even a gardening club where dirt-stained hands swap tips. If getting out is tricky, the online world offers a lifeline. Forums for hobbyists, video calls with distant friends, or social media groups buzzing with like-minded souls. Don't overlook the small stuff either. A quick chat with a neighbor over the fence about the weather, or a wave to the mail carrier can ripple into something warmer over time. It's not about rebuilding a crowd, it's about finding threads of connection that feel genuine. One good conversation can outweigh a dozen shallow ones, lifting spirits in ways Eleanor might not expect. Number 7. Stiffening up. There was a time when Eleanor moved through her days with ease, bending to tie her shoes without a second thought, strolling around the block to catch the sunset, or reaching up to grab a jar from the top shelf. Now, every motion comes with a catch. Her knees creak like old floorboards, her back protests with a dull twinge, and her fingers fumble where they once flowed. It's as if her body has grown stubborn, reluctant to bend or stretch as it used to. This stiffening isn't just inconvenient, it's frustrating. A daily reminder that age has tightened its grip on her joints and muscles. Mobility declines as flexibility fades away, turning once effortless tasks into small battles she doesn't always feel like fighting. So what can you do? The key is to move with purpose, but gently. Start with daily stretches, simple ones, like reaching for the sky to loosen shoulders, or easing into a seated twist to wake up the spine. Low-impact activities can work wonders too. Yoga, with its slow, mindful poses, or swimming, where water cradles the body and eases strain. Strength matters as much as flexibility, so focus on building it in the legs and core. Think chair squats or standing leg lifts to shore up balance and fend off falls. The trick is to start small, 5 minutes today, 10 tomorrow, letting consistency outshine intensity. Pair this with comfortable shoes and maybe a warm compress on sore spots. Over time, Eleanor might find her steps a little lighter, her mornings less creaky, a quiet victory over stiffness. 8. Sleepless nights. Sleep used to be Eleanor's refuge, a soft landing after the day's hustle. She'd sink into her pillow, drift off to the hum of crickets, and wake refreshed. Now, it's a different story. Night after night, she tosses and turns, chasing rest that slips away like a dream she can't hold. Sometimes it's a racing mind, worries about tomorrow or echoes of yesterday that keeps her up. Other times, it's an ache in her hip or a sudden flush of heat. She wakes groggy, blurry-eyed, staring down a day that feels longer without that recharge. Hormonal shifts, stress, or plain old discomfort often unravel sleep patterns as we age, turning what was once a given into a nightly negotiation. So, what's the answer? Routine is the anchor here. Set a bedtime and stick to it, say 10 p.m., so her body learns when to wind down. Ditch the afternoon coffee, even decaf can sneak in a jolt, and swap it for herbal tea, like chamomile, that soothes instead of stirs. Build a wind-down ritual, deep breathing to settle the mind, a warm bath to melt tension, or a few pages of a gentle book, if focus allows. The bedroom matters too. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet, with curtains that block the streetlight's glow, and a fan to hum away the silence. If she's still restless, a quick jot in a notebook can offload nagging thoughts. It won't fix everything overnight, but bit by bit, Eleanor might find sleep creeping back, ready to cradle her again. 9. Fading senses. Eleanor used to breeze through novels or enjoy the chatter of a bustling cafe without a second thought. Now her glasses are non-negotiable, small print blurs into a frustrating haze without them, and noisy rooms turn conversations into a jumbled strain. She finds herself tilting her head or squinting to catch words, and soft sounds like birdsong sometimes slip away entirely, dimming. Vision and hearing are hallmarks of aging. As the eye's lenses stiffen and the tiny hair cells in the ears wear down over decades of use. For seniors like Eleanor, this gradual sensory decline can feel isolating, as if the world is pulling back behind a veil of muffled sounds and fuzzy edges. So, what's the fix? Make regular checkups with an optometrist and audiologist a priority. Yearly visits can catch changes early and fine-tune solutions. Embrace tools like glasses or hearing aids without hesitation. They're not signs of weakness, but practical bridges to staying connected. Experiment with different lens strengths or hearing aid models to find the perfect fit. And don't shy away from asking about new tech. Some devices now sync with phones for custom sound control. Acting proactively keeps you engaged in the moments that matter, from reading a grandchild's letter to hearing their laughter. 10. Temperature sensitivity. Eleanor once reveled in the simple pleasures of a sunny afternoon stroll or the bracing chill of a crisp fall morning, her body adapting effortlessly to the seasons. These days, though, she's bundling up against a breeze that never used to bother her, or fanning herself in heat that feels suffocatingly close. Aging brings subtle but relentless shifts. Skin thins as collagen fades, blood vessels lose some of their zip, and the body's thermostat, regulated by the hypothalamus, starts to sputter. What used to be a refreshing change in weather now sends her reaching for a sweater or peeling it off in a flush of discomfort. Extremes, hot or cold, hit harder and linger longer. What is there to do? Dress strategically. Think breathable, light fabrics like cotton in summer, layered with a loose cardigan for flexibility, and cozy insulating options like wool or fleece in winter. At home, keep comfort within reach. A portable fan for sticky days, a heating pad, or small space heater for chilly nights. Sipping cool water or warm tea can also nudge your internal balance back in line. These small, deliberate adjustments don't just fend off discomfort. They let you reclaim the joy of a day outdoors or a quiet evening in. If you're still listening and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below. Let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Let's move forward to 11. Snapping more easily. Eleanor remembers when a delayed package or a blaring TV ad was just a minor hiccup. She'd shrug it off with a laugh or a patient sigh. Now, those same irritants spark a sharp grumble or a flash of impatience before she can rein it in. A neighbor's loud mower or a slow cashier can set her teeth on edge, and she's left wondering where her old calm went. Age can amplify irritability, driven by a cocktail of factors. Hormonal shifts as estrogen or testosterone dip, frayed nerves from years, and even underlying health issues. So, what to do about it when that senior rumpiness lingers? First, self-compassion is key. Tell yourself it's okay to feel ticked off sometimes. Don't beat yourself up for it. Next, try to head off those triggers. If grocery store lines make you antsy, shop during off-peak hours or use self-checkout if you can. If your neighbor's leaf blower gets on your last nerve, put on some noise-canceling headphones and focus on something else. And don't underestimate the power of a well-timed break. When you feel that irritation simmering, take a few deep breaths, step away from the situation, and give yourself a chance to cool down. It won't erase the triggers, but it can stop them from hijacking your day. Also, if the irritation or grumpiness continues, consider a chat with a doctor. Sometimes low vitamin D or a thyroid tweak plays a role, and that could explain why small things bother you. You're not turning into a crank, you're just navigating a brain and body in flux. 12. Relying on others. Independence was Eleanor's badge of honor. Decades of managing her own home, hauling groceries, and fixing what broke without a second thought. Now, though, the weight of a shopping bag stings her wrists, and scrubbing the bathtub leaves her winded. Asking her son to carry boxes, or a neighbor to help with one task, or hire a service for another. Guilt doesn't belong here. Build a network you trust from friends who chat, while they help to pros who handle the heavy stuff. Think of it like delegating at a job. You're not surrendering control, you're directing it. Embracing support takes guts, and that's its own kind of strength. Well, there you have it. 12 unexpected realities of aging that caught Eleanor and maybe even you by surprise, along with practical ways to handle them with grace. Aging might not fade out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips to thrive at every stage of life. Thanks for watching. Let's keep growing stronger together.